And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the Jeff Mara Podcast. Here's Jeff.
All right, it would help if I hit the mute button. There's too many buttons here. Now you guys can hear me. Let me start over. Happy Saturday to you, and if you're on the other side of the planet, happy Sunday to you. I hope you've all had a great week, and thank you for coming back on Saturday Night Live stream. And I think you guys are all here. And I just wanted to look at this real quick, this stat, and see where it's at. So yesterday's podcast probably had the most comments out of any podcast so far. And that may have happened in one day. According to this, it has over 1,000 comments in one day, which is amazing. I don't feel like the comments were mostly favorable, so they weren't polarizing. A lot of times the comments are polarizing. It's like they really love the guest or they don't like the guest when there's a lot of them. And this time, the majority of them were positive about it. So I'm glad you guys liked it. And if you haven't seen it, you may want to take a look at it. People are still saying, oh, okay, sound is now on. Still no sound, but someone says now. Okay, now. So, all right, I think everybody's there. All right, so we've got two people waiting. Maybe I should just get right into it and get started, and then I can later talk about, what's going on with the week and where we're up to and, like the week's events. So we have J.C. Morris here. And I believe that's Jennifer, who was on 2 weeks ago with us during a podcast. And I think she's going to try to be able to share screen with us this time because she had some orb videos and possibly a UFO video. I'm not sure, and hopefully she can be able to show it this time. What happened? She's gone. I don't think I kicked her out. I hope I didn't. I think she just somehow disappeared. Let me pour this over here. Maybe sometimes it just doesn't work out right in it, and people just kind of disappear. So we've got Mesa here, and Jennifer will probably be back. Let's see what Messa's up to. It looks like we're going to have a busy night tonight. I may not even get a chance. Oh, wait. To even go over anything. And that's even better. I love it when it's really busy nights. It's just constant people here wanting to come on and share. And if you want to come and share, right below the video, there is a link. Not a link, but there is the Zoom room ID as well as the passcode to get in. So that is there for you. And there he is.
Good evening.
Greetings.
Just a warning, you've been quiet for like 5 minutes now.
You can
the
hear
audio was off.
You can
yeah,
hear me
I can
now?
hear you, but the stream couldn't.
Well, I think everybody's saying now that they can hear us. Yeah, it's saying loud and clear, so we're good.
Oh, okay.
But thank you for that, and greetings, Earthling. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Great. What's going on in your side of the planet?
Well, it's really nasty weather out. First, there's wind gusts on my window right now. You can't hear it because well. No, it's gone for now. Okay.
Now you are in Norway or Finland or somewhere?
Netherlands.
Netherlands. Okay, that's like real close to. It's right on top of Germany, basically, in France, right?
Next to Germany.
Right.
Next to Germany.
Right.
West of Germany.
Right. Northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So what is the latest with your situation?
Well, I didn't say per se that my soulmate is the only voice. Basically, right now the other voices started popping up and started talking like there's a plan going on with me, and that is finally over. What they all planned with me. They were very cryptic about it, so I can't go into much further than it's solved. They basically had a small conference with me like on Saturday last week, and then Tuesday in the park, and they felt totally different. So I could feel the difference between one voice and the other. One was more masculine, the other was a woman. They basically claim to be my family on the other side. So people I don't know who have already passed like hundreds of years ago. They are my soul family. And they basically say I'm important enough to take care of things. Like I told you a few streams ago, with the space and time-space thing, where I basically was plucked out of reality and put into another reality, and they tested me like a few times. Well, I have a good friend on the other side, and he basically did the test for me because I wasn't meant to lose my future lives. And on the next side.
You were freezing, but you're back now.
Oh, I said I think I can hear echo from Mara's side of the computer.
No, she's.
Yeah.
She's not.
I can hear her talking. Oh, sorry.
Maybe they're hearing William. You might be hearing my son William. I think that's what you're
Oh,
hearing in the
okay.
background. We gotta ask him to whisper for us. We forgot to do that while we're live streaming. We're in like this kind of one big room here.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, sorry about
Same
that.
problem with me. No, it's okay. Yeah, so basically they told me they were testing things out
Mm-hmm.
in another separate mini universe. They basically did it thousands of times because the voices that were controlling me at the time were very erratic and unpredictable. And basically, worst case scenario happened the last time they tested me, and they had to reset time and space, literally like the whole world for me. Total blackout,
Mm-hmm.
total nothing. And then my memory had like a huge gap, and I woke up and I didn't remember anything till they mentioned it like 10 years later or something, like in 2019. And this these people who I feel now are the same people who showed up in my memory. So there's one guy, he's a writer, and what he basically does is what we do in our previous lives, so pre-birth, but he does it in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically edits reality in real time so that the unpredictable voices don't go out of their bounds with funny time space business.
Mm.
And well, that's about it really.
Okay.
It's I can go in further, but I think I need a few more weeks to process everything
All
because
right.
it's been really hectic.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for coming and giving us an update. It's Ben, right?
Yeah.
Ben, all right. I'm just making sure. Ben, thank you for giving us an update. I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. And I wish you a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah, you too.
All
Have
right.
a
Well,
nice stream.
thank you. Take
Bye.
care. Mm-hmm. Oh, I almost said rename. I almost messed that up. Good thing that I didn't. All right. Next is Christine Scott. Not sure if Christine has been a guest before or not. I don't recognize the name. Christine, are you there? I can hear you. I just can't see you yet. Here's some music to introduce her.
But he's there now.
Are you there?
Mhm. And are you having to take any pain pills? Do you find the pain still?
I think that she is talking to somebody else and doesn't even realize that she is live. Because it sounds like she's talking to someone about like maybe she's on the phone with somebody. Right, Christine?
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I was just checking in on you.
Yeah, she's checking in on somebody. So let's put her back in the waiting room and let's bring JC Morris in and see if it'll work this time.
You are using device audio. He's having problems here. Share video.
Yeah, I think that you disappeared the last time you were here.
Is he talking to me?
I'm talking to you. Hello?
Hi, I'm here.
There you are.
Hi,
All right,
sorry.
welcome back. All right, so again,
Yes,
this is
good to see you.
Good to see you. Again, if you haven't seen her, this is Jennifer. We did a podcast together a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And she came last week and we were trying to get her to screen share her orb videos. Do you think you can? Let me see if I can set it up for you.
Okay.
Okay, I've made it so you are allowed to share your screen.
Okay. I have a helper today.
All right.
You have it dislocated inside your
What?
wings. It's not letting her share. See if you hit share. Okay, there. And then you have to do.
Okay.
something.
Yeah. Yes, so.
It's coming.
All right. It's all right. Take your time.
Oh, hit. Zoom. Oh, just hit. Oh, your phone.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I got it.
All right. What are we going to see first? Is this orbs or UFO or what? Uh-oh.
I'll see which one comes up first.
All right. I lost your video.
Uh-oh.
It's gonna take a minute.
I'm trying.
That's okay. We are patiently waiting.
Okay.
There
Can
we
you
go.
see this map?
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. All right. Now you
Okay.
spoke about a map. Yeah, you talked about the map, the new map of what's going to happen to the everything, right?
Yes, this is the best version I can find between the US and Japan and the Pacific Ocean. And my specific message was that this cataclysmic event could happen because they want like a rebirth, resetting. So what would happen is where I have these purple lines,
Mm-hmm.
if you can imagine going straight down into the earth like almost like a axe point, and all this land and under Japan and California cutting across through into the Gulf of Mexico. And if this was going to happen, I know that this is one of the things that could be considered, and it's only a God-given cataclysmic event. Nobody can predict when this would happen. And I got the message of 30 years. So yeah, if this would happen, just imagine all the water in the ocean going down into the earth and tearing land away. And it really would be cataclysmic, especially if the global warming and the ice shelves melt at the same time.
Now, you saw this during your near-death experience, right?
Yes, I did.
Are you saying that everything below the red line will be underwater, or the water will recede from there and it'll all be land?
Where the red line is, the ocean and the earth underneath the ocean will go into a vast, enormous cavern, sucking up land and water straight across from Japan to the Gulf of Mexico.
So what will we see afterwards? Everything will just be underwater?
Destruction. Yeah. I mean, if you could just imagine all this water and earth going away, it's just going to be horrific for not just the United States and Japan, but I mean, the Hawaiian Islands will be gone. All this, South America, I mean, it could be an end to us.
Yeah.
But this is only one of the events that they're considering. Just because I seen this and I got a prediction of 30 years, like I said, if we as humans change our behavior and become what they want of us, they may move on to a different scenario further down the road. So they're just very unhappy with the way we are as humans.
Right. It's interesting is I don't know if you can see my mouse, but I live right on the edge of this red line. Yeah. Right here. And so I may have beachfront property.
Right. There is actually a few people that in Texas that have asked me, about this, and all I'm doing is relaying the message I got, and that's what they wanted me to do. So
Now, did you see anything of Europe or Asia, of the Atlantic Ocean?
yeah, this opening, this cavern that's gonna open up is gonna be so massive that it's gonna be pulling water, and it could even, besides the icebergs melting, it could drag all that ice. I mean, almost around the world.
Hmm.
So it's not just like one little thing and you're gonna lose a city. It's gonna be massive scale.
Right. Did you happen to watch the video yesterday that I posted?
I think I did, yes.
Whether you would agree or disagree is completely okay, but I was curious, since you've had an NDE, what your thoughts are. Like, do you think that this is a trap and we keep getting sent back here, against our will, or do you disagree with the guest?
What I believe, from what I was telepathically told, is that we are on Earth, one of the versions of creations in the universe that they have made. And it's almost like experimental. They're creating all these different beings across the universe. It's not just us. So we're kind of like an experiment.
All right. Do you think you can show us your orbs as well?
Yes. Share video? No?
Okay.
It's in photos. Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong one.
That's okay. Take your time.
Here it is. You got to take note here that I was extremely sick with COVID when I seen this. And the video is pretty shaky.
All right, why don't you set it up for us? Like, what are we going to be looking at?
Almost got it here. 1 second. There we go. Sorry, I know I'm taking up time.
You're good. I don't have anything though. I think I totally, I don't have any video from you at all.
Yeah, I'm getting it right now.
Okay.
Where did it go?
And I want to give a big shout out and thank you to your daughter for helping you.
It's actually my niece.
Okay.
We gotta go back. Oh. I'm sorry, we're getting like dead air here.
That's okay. Maybe I'll play some background music while we're waiting. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's in there, in the photos, the videos, in the photos. So how do we get? No. It's in here. No, see, you gotta go back.
Do you hear it?
Eventually, I'm gonna get it here. Sorry, guys.
Here's one thing that oh, here we go. All right, cool.
You gotta go back.
Lasagna. Uh-oh.
I don't know what's wrong with me.
That's okay. Here's a little tidbit. People always want to know something about me, and here's another thing about me you probably didn't know. I used to DJ, and I used to always, we always like to have a little bit of music back, behind you. It's kind of like we would call it dead air when you're just
in here.
talking with nothing behind you. So Now that I got a new toy here, electronic toy to help me do stuff, and it's nice. I can get the background
Why
music.
is it not showing?
I thought we almost had it.
Yeah, I did too.
Okay, so
Sorry,
you're
that's not it.
sharing. Okay, there is somebody. We had you.
That was us when we were younger. Sorry.
That's okay. We almost had it.
Okay, do you want photos?
It is in the photos.
Now, I was trying to do something to show we have a new coffee mug out. This is our old one, but Penny Sutton, one of our amazing audience members, designed us a new coffee mug. And I don't know if it's actually in the store yet or not, because I have to create it on something called Printify, and then it's ready, and then somehow Shopify grabs it from Printify and showcases it, and you're basically buying it from Shopify. But I haven't checked. I don't know if it's there yet or not, but we've got a new logo out. And we're working on it. And that looks like we're at a race car track.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys.
Her phone is really okay.
I don't know where it went. It's in here.
And it shows that Minnie Rapunzel wants some Iron Maiden. It'd be pretty cool if I could play some metal, but probably, I don't know if it'd go over that well. Let me try another song. Did I have a DJ name? No, I never figured out a cool DJ name. I should have. Yeah, like DJ Jazzy Jeff, but it was already taken. All right, while we're waiting on that, waiting on her. I don't know if you see.
If you keep scrolling through that, it's probably in there.
Let me see my appointment book here while we're waiting. I recorded 2 NDEs. One will be playing tomorrow and one will be playing on Monday.
Okay, now wait. Look then, watch. Hang on.
And someone wants Don't Fear the Reaper. That would probably be a perfect song for this, right?
Wait.
I know, you have to go and
Wait. Here it is.
my sharing your screen.
Can you see that?
Negative.
Okay, wait, look. You want to... This is in camera. Okay, look. If you go like this...
I'm sorry. I'm wasting time here.
So while you're figuring out, I was going to tell everybody what the week's... Oh, looks like we may have got it. There we go. There's me.
Yeah, there we go.
There's some flowers.
Got it? Yeah, there it is. You got it?
Oh, yeah, there it is. All right, so you were outside or you were in your bedroom when you filmed this?
We let the dogs out around 9 o'clock, and I let the dogs out, but I was so sick with COVID, and I seen this, and I thought it might have been an airplane coming towards me, and it was this color changing orb, and I couldn't believe it. And you could see how vibrant the colors are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's almost like a nucleus in the middle of it, but it's not a great video.
Well, you could see this with your naked eye?
Oh yeah, it was incredible. And I always think about, you go on some show with your video and they say, keep recording as long as you can, but I couldn't. And I only got a minute and 30 seconds, something like that.
How big was it? If you could,
It was,
was it as big as like a soccer ball?
bigger.
Bigger?
Yeah, it was
Wow.
bigger. It,
like a beach ball?
probably like the size of a hula hoop.
A hula hoop. Wow, that's like 3 feet in diameter.
Yeah, and it was really close to me as well. It was only like one street over. I mean, it felt to me like it was there for me.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
this is one
amazing.
thing. This is one thing that I remembered that I thought was associated with my NDE, but I'm
Now,
sorry I took up so much time.
that's okay. Now, this happened before or after your NDE?
Before
How long before?
9 years.
Oh, 9
Oh
years.
no,
Wow, it's
this
a
was
long
last
time.
December. This
What?
was last December.
Oh, I'm confused. This happened 9 years before your NDE?
No. I was thinking of the vision of the tablet. That was 9 years ago. This happened last December 12th, 2021.
And now, when was your NDE?
January 2022.
So, like a month before.
Yeah, it was close.
I forgot, excuse me, I've talked to probably 20 or 30 people since we did your podcast. Did you see or encounter any beings during your NDE? I don't remember.
Yeah, I had the golden orbs and 10 family members that were part orb and part as I remember them.
You had COVID when you took this video, right?
Yes, I did. I was really sick. I was afraid to go to sleep. I didn't think I was going to wake up.
I wonder if already your COVID illness was a possible exit point for you. Like perhaps you were going to have the NDE then and the orb was there waiting for you, and then you were healthy enough where you didn't have it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I had 3 things that happened to me that I think are associated with the NDE. And there were actually 2 aliens at my bedside, gray, short, and they went into my daughter's room. I could see it in my mind. And then there was the orb, and then the tablet was before that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Jennifer,
now I got to figure it all out.
Now we got it. Jennifer,
Yeah.
Thank you for coming and sharing that with us.
Thank you. And I apologize to everybody. Please forgive me.
No problem. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so seeing an orb the size of a hula hoop, that makes it to me like 3 feet in diameter. I didn't give her an applause. That's pretty amazing with your naked eye. And Dan won. I like your prediction. Thank you for that. Next up is Pia. And we'll play a little music while we're waiting for her to come in. So the next 2 nights you will have NDEs, because tomorrow night I recorded an NDE, and the next one I also recorded an NDE, which I actually recorded it this morning. And this guy, somebody was drowning in a creek or a river, and he was trying to save him. And he actually got pulled underwater, and the person that he was trying to save was stepping on him. And he got like held down underwater, and then he had his NDE. All right, so let's see if we can help Pia join us. Oh. There she is.
Sorry, I was having some problems.
That's okay. Welcome, Pia.
Thanks, Jeff.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Great. We're having a busy night.
Yeah, awesome.
So, what do you have to share with us tonight?
I just wanted to share my hypnotherapy session. The very first time I went in, and I saw my dad. Well, I actually saw my daughter that had passed away, and I saw my dad. Well, the first one I want to share is my dad and me didn't have a very good relationship. It was kind of a volatile relationship, and we had a really bad argument before he died. And there's a lot of things I didn't get to say to him before he passed on. And I didn't talk to him for about 8 months probably before he passed on. And then I find out he died suddenly of a heart attack. I then started having dreams of him coming into my dream state, and this started happening regularly, like every single night, that I would have the exact same dream every night, where I would feel like I was picking up the phone, and he would phone me, and I'd be like, what do you mean you're dead? Like, how could you be calling me? And then the next night I'd run into him at the store, I'd run into him somewhere else, and the next night I'd run into, I'd pick up the phone. It was always the same, and it went on and on and on, to the point of every single night for 3 weeks. I thought I was going nuts after his death.
Let me
So
stop you.
anyways,
Let me stop you for one
yeah.
moment. I'm curious if this was a dream where you were sorting out your life with him, or a contact dream. So, did he look
Yeah.
young and youthful, or did he look like the age that he transitioned at?
No, I think it was different every time. But I remember getting mad at him every time, and every single dream I got mad, and I said, "Why are you lying to me? You're supposed to be dead. Why are you here? You're supposed to be dead. Why are you?" And it was a constant, on a loop. Like, I knew he had died, but was seeing him alive, and it was really strange. And I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know who to talk to about it. So fast forward a few years, it kept going on for years. So I went to Bali. I wasn't doing really well, and I wanted to sort myself out. So I went on a spiritual retreat to Bali.
Mhm.
I was staying at this place, and this lady who had happened to live beside me um, was practicing hypnotherapy, and I had never done anything like that before. And she said, "Well, we need some people to practice on. Do you want to come forward and be one of the people that we practice on?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'm willing to do anything at this point.
Cool.
I've come here to heal myself." So I went to the retreat, and I did the first session, which is my daughter. But when I was coming out of the first session, which is unbelievable, I saw my dad in that session, and he was peeking around a tree, and he was kind of like this, "Hello, hello, will you talk to me?" And I looked at him, and I looked back, and I looked at him again in the session, and I was like, no, I was still mad, and I didn't want to have anything to do with him. So I came out of that session, and we ended up having lunch with a bunch of mediums, hypnotherapists, psychics, all that stuff. While we're all sitting around the table. And I said, it's really weird. I just went and had the first session, and I said, I saw my dad in that first session. And it's like he was standing behind a tree, and he was kind of looking sheepishly at me, trying to get my attention. And the lady, I didn't even know her, but she was sitting at the end of the table. There's about 20 of us sitting there. And she goes, "Yeah." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Yeah, he's here right now, and he's poking everybody on the shoulder. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. Can somebody try to get my daughter's attention and get her to talk to me?"
Wow.
And the medium said. And I'm like, "Really? Like, I didn't know." And she's like, "Yeah, you should go back in for an afternoon session." I'm like, okay, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want to talk to him or not, because the way everything was left, like, there was a lot of anger, a lot of stuff, like, in my childhood and everything. So, which I thought I'd work through. So I thought about it, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll go talk to him. So instantly, as soon as I went into my hypnotherapy session, which I'm a clinical hypnotherapist now, I know that your subconscious, when in a hypnosis state, attaches to your higher self, which takes you into another realm. So what was happening there is, as soon as I got into hypnosis, he was instantly there. Instantly. I was like, I saw him. And she said, "Okay, we're going to go in with your childhood self. And we're going to go in with you. You're going to hold hands, and you're going to go talk to him, and he's going to listen to everything you have to say." So anyways, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I walked in front of him, and I saw him. I saw him right there. And I thought I had forgiven, but I guess in my subconscious mind, or my soul, I hadn't. So I just let him have it. And he stood there with his head down, and he took all of it. And then he looked up at me, and he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm sorry." He goes, "I'm so sorry." He says, "I've learned a lot here." And he goes, "It's different here. You don't understand." He goes, I understand now." what I've done, and I want to apologize. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm sorry for everything I've done. He goes, I've tried to show you something, and this is what I needed to show you. And then all of a sudden I was kind of sucked into this place where I was shown his childhood. I saw him as a little boy in a field, and I didn't even know any of this at the time. I got sucked into this place where I saw him as a boy, and then I saw his father, so my grandfather, and this was in Europe, in Holland, and he was working the farm. He had 8 brothers and sisters. And he kind of got worked like a workhorse, never any love. He had to care for all the brothers and sisters and all this kind of stuff. And I saw that he was sort of abused. And I started, like, I almost like saw through his eyes what he saw and what he felt. And instantly I saw that and I felt, oh my God, now I understand. So I felt compassion, I felt forgiveness, I felt love, I felt all these feelings. And so I came back through, and he says, this is what I was trying to show you. This is what I couldn't love you kids, because I wasn't shown love myself from my parents, right?
Yeah,
So
makes
he was
sense.
showing me through his dad. So anyways, he was trying to show me all this time he couldn't move on. He said he couldn't move on to another place until he stuck around. And that's how I know now, all these years, there was unfinished business. There was a lot of stuff that happened. And he goes, I really want to show you now what a real dad would have been like. So I saw myself as a little girl, and my sister was brought in too, and we were sitting on his lap, and he was, you know how a dad just bounces you up and down on his lap like little kids and stuff like that. So, I was doing that, and just like a really nice, dad, and playing and stuff like that. And then he came in to say, please, show your sister. And then he turned and said, also to your mother. And he had a message for my mother as well, and my sister. Then what happened is he leaned down in front of me and he said, I'm so sorry for everything I did. Then I had to have forgiveness. So I handed him this box of unconditional love, and he opened it, and it was unconditional love and forgiveness. And I could see him crying, and he said, thank you so much. Thank you so much for this gift. And then I kissed him and said goodbye. And I almost could see him he just rose like up into this light. And that was 2015. Yeah, so that would be 16. That would be 6 or 7 years ago.
Now, is this the Bali, the time that you went before your NDE?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, so I haven't had the dream since. I've maybe seen him in my dream two times. And before I went to Bali, he was visiting me in my dream, like constantly. So now I know when I after that hypnotherapy session, when that was real, like I sent him, forgave him, and sent him into the light. And then I guess he had to go transition somewhere else, because I haven't seen him in my dreams since.
Do you feel like you've got closure now?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's no hard feelings. There's nothing. I talk to him all the time now, and I can feel him around me. Like, even like he came in to help me in that near-death accident when he wrapped himself around me in the car.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. For those of you who don't know, Pia was on probably like, what, a month ago? How long ago was it that we did your podcast?
Yeah, probably about a month ago.
She was on a month ago, and it was, I think your car was falling down the side of a mountain, right?
Yeah, I rolled my car 7 times.
She rolled her car off the mountain in Canada. And do you remember what number your podcast is? I don't remember.
No, I don't remember.
It's in the 600s probably, because it's not too far back. But you guys may want to check it out. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to say, she's podcast 333 or whatever. Actually, maybe I could see real quick if I can see on this computer here. If I go to brighten it up a second. See, might be able to see. I can scan really quickly. And I don't want to take everybody's time up, but
Well, I just want to tell you quickly, for anybody that's lost any loved ones or any babies, which I did. I had a baby die on me
mhm.
too. And that first session in the hypnotherapy before my dad, I also saw my baby.
Mm.
And so she came through, and she and I, this was very devastating for me. So I also saw her, and she was right in front of me, and she was growing up on the other side, and I actually saw her in the field playing and all that. So I know I can see where people go, and I can see where the kids go. And she came, and she actually told me, she said, "Mama," I can still hear her standing there, "Mama, you stop crying. You stop crying now."
Mm.
And she made all these funny faces like this and started shaking her butt and everything. And she was smiling and laughing. She said, "No more crying, Mama, no more crying." And she was like about 5 years old, and she was tall, and she had long brown hair, and she was beautiful. And she was playing with my uncle who had passed on. I could see her in a field. They showed me. So it was beautiful. It was just beautiful.
That's great.
So
If
yeah.
people want to contact you and, talk to you more about it, what's the best way to reach you?
My new website's up, so I'm at Universe Hypnotherapy, and it starts with a Y. So YO, because I believe all the answers are you.
Mhm.
Universe, so universehypnotherapy.ca.
Okay, great. You're still in
Yeah.
Canada, right? What is it? Winnipeg? Is that where you're at? Or no,
No, not Winnipeg. No way. That's too cold. Vernon. So BC, British Columbia,
BC, British
Canada.
Columbia.
Yeah.
All right, Pia. Well, thank you so much for coming back and sharing with us. And that was a great story, and I really appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, Jeff. Thank you very much.
All right, you have a great night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. It is PIA. All right. So that was Pia. It's nice to have her back again. It's great when old guests kind of, come in and see what's up. We've had 2 old guests tonight. Out of over 600 guests, not many people are, come back. So I enjoy it because it's like seeing an old friend again, right? And next is PD Pete. PD Pete is, he is spearheading the project. LAMMES. Pete, how's it
Hello.
going?
Hey, good. How are you doing?
Great. What's the latest update with the project?
The project is going really, really well. That was really touching story from Pia about her
Yes.
father there.
Yes,
I
it
felt
was.
that. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on for a quick minute or two and see if I could round up some more volunteers. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on this project where we're trying to put timestamps on all of Jeff's NDE interviews so that he can, well, let me put it this way. I've watched a lot of NDEs. I've watched, I don't know, like 600, 700, maybe 1,000, I don't know, a lot. And it's always kind of frustrating to me how like mainstream science can just say, oh, what these things these people are experiencing are random hallucinations. And once you watch a lot of them, you realize there are certain very specific details that get repeated over and over and over again. And I was saying to Jeff, wouldn't it be interesting if you could make a really compelling video where it's just little snippets of all different kinds of people saying that one same little detail over and over again. Like, for example, sometimes they say when they come out of their body, they feel themselves expanding. They feel like they're this big, big field of energy and consciousness. What if there were like 5 or 6 people saying, I came out and I started to expand. I came out and I was this huge thing, like a giant cloud. Or they say, when it's time to go back in, they say, I looked at that tiny little body and I thought, how am I going to fit this giant thing that's me into that tiny little shell? So it's just stuff like that. And Jeff said, well, that's a great idea, but it's going to take hundreds of hours of work to sift through all those hundreds of NDE interviews and put the little category markers on and, the little timestamps. They said this at 7 minutes and 20 seconds or whatever. So I volunteered to spearhead it. And so far, me and about 5 or 6 volunteers have done 80 or just
Wow.
about 80 episodes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's moving along really quickly. but we could really use some extra help. Before I forget, I just want to thank the half a dozen people that have been volunteering. They've been really generous with their time. And it's Minnie Rapunzel, thank you. Awake Ken, thank you. Olga A, thank you. Tom for one, who I forgot to thank last time, thank you, thank you. Peg, thank you. And Kim Hayes, thank you very much for all your volunteer work.
Yes, thank you all very much.
And yeah, it's moving along really quickly, and it's kind of fun. We have this, we have this little, if you want to help, you just have to jump onto Jeff's, what's it called?
The Discord server,
Jeff's
and
Discord channel.
right. And by the way, I've created just one password that gets you in forever. So it's not going to change anymore, because a lot of times they change and people are telling me the password doesn't work. So the password that's in the description below is there now for good. And you go to discord.com, you sign up for free, you get a free profile, and then you join my server, which is like a chat room, but more. And we made one room just for the for people who want to volunteer. And what was that room called? I forgot.
It's called the Jeff Mara timestamp master list project. Something, it says times. Look for the channel that says timestamp, and that's the one. And if you go to that channel, that's where you'll find me and these 6 other volunteers chatting about, oh, I just finished episode 432. I'm going to do episode 51 next, And if you scroll through that, you'll see the something called the volunteer kit that I posted. And the volunteer kit has 4 links in it to the files that we use to put the little labels on the timestamps of the episodes. And our goal is to get 400 of these done by the end of the year. And I think we're going to hit it because we already have 80. And I think we've only been doing this for about 6 weeks now.
That's amazing.
But it's fun. You get to go back and look at things, and you get to kind of analyze the interview in a new way and make connections. And also I think it's a really good cause, because if we can convince more people of the reality that of the NDE, of the reality that you don't have to be afraid of death, then people will be happier, people will be less afraid, and the world will be a better place. So I think it's really a valuable form of service. So if you feel like doing some service, please check us out and help us stamp an episode or 2.
Right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Pete, so much for spearheading this project. And it'll be interesting when I start editing and creating these videos together. And for example,
there's so many like cool things, because like some of the categories I put in just because I thought they might make interesting videos. Like the very first category 1, is when the person discusses their faith or spirituality before the NDE or after the NDE. And just a list of those, a bunch of snippets of that number 1 category could be an interesting video. Just, this is how they were raised, and this is how they felt after this happened,
Right.
There's so many ways you can mix and match all the categories, and there's I think there's around 80 categories or something like that.
That's awesome.
But anyway, I don't want to take up any more time. I just wanted to come try to get a little more help and give you an update.
Well, thank you very much, Pete. Thank you so much. We appreciate your help. I definitely appreciate your help. And check back in with us, and then let us know. I mean, 80 is great.
Thank you. And thank you for everything that you do.
All right. Take care. Have a great weekend.
See you next time.
Bye-bye. All right. So thank you again, Pete. And next we have Ali Salman. Let's see what Ali's up to. We're waiting for her.
Hello, sir. Oh, wait, sorry. Just give me a second. Sorry about that. From the crazy human. Yeah. Hold on a second.
Seemed like he didn't have a shirt on.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Hello. How are you, Al? How do I pronounce your...
Other people, wait, hold on. You have to tell other people to join the Zoom. It's so fun. I'm not like a Zoom bombing person. I'm just I'm just here to see what you're doing. Like, I'm just joining. I want to hear what you're doing inside it.
So you've never watched this live podcast before?
Nope. I'm gonna subscribe to your YouTube right now.
All right. Well, how did you find us?
I found you on YouTube, and then if I click more.
Oh,
and it
you were
says,
just
"If you want to join
was I
me,"
just you
it
just
says, no, wait. It says if you want to join me, Zoom ID, and then you write the passcode, and then I join you here.
All right. Well, let me start here. It sounds like you're from the United Kingdom. Is that true?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Very good. That's a
How
start.
can you do that? How can you know that?
You didn't know. This is a psychic podcast, and I just figured out where you were.
Okay. Sorry. Wait.
All right. So
read your mind, read your future, read something. I don't know. Is it true?
I can barely hear you, but what I'm going to say is what it is this is like a call-in radio show, but with video, and people call in and tell me either their ghost stories, their UFO stories, their psychic stories, anything paranormal. So if you would like to share, get on the camera.
So we can hear them. We can just listen.
Sorry. Yeah. So I'm just.
So
let other people join. Wait. So let other people join. So I will mute my mic so people want other people to join.
Well, what I'm gonna have to, if you have nothing to share, then I'm gonna have to kick you out because it's one person at a time.
But we can't listen.
Well, can we listen or?
Yeah. You. Here's what.
No.
Okay. The way you want to watch is just go to the YouTube channel, Jeff Mara Podcast, and this is all live streaming now on the YouTube channel. And if you hurry up and get there, you'll
No.
There's a time delay, so you can still see yourself. Oh,
No.
He's gone.
No, I want to stay on it so I can speak to you. Like I want to have a fun, enjoying time with you speaking here.
Well, do you have a paranormal story to share?
334.
No.
Hello. By the way, you are live, and we have about over 300 people watching you right now.
Damn it! No. Seriously?
Seriously.
Hold on. Hold on. I need to check on my Discord.
So right now, you are famous, my friend.
Oh my God.
You are very famous.
Hold on. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to just remove one of the Discord, then I add you in Discord so I can message you there.
Mama, people they tell him about scary stories.
All right. Okay. Sorry. Take care.
All right, Ali. I'm on it. See you later. Oh, he's gone. All right. So that was the first time it happened. That was kind of fun. At least it wasn't any craziness like a year ago. And for those of you that were here a year ago, you would remember, I don't even want to mention it, but for those of you that were here a year ago, there was a lot of craziness going on. And I even had to shut down the live stream for about a month until I could figure it out. And I just realized something, that I've got to stop allowing screen share, which I just did that. It reminded me. So I can breathe a sigh of relief that I caught that. All right, so anyways, there's over 300 of you here, so that means there should be 3 people in line, and we got Leslie here, so we'll see if Leslie is going to channel a song for us. For those of you that don't know, Leslie is a fantastic piano player, and he channels music and plays it for us in real time, and he has been doing it for us for the last few weeks. So we will see if he's got his keys ready. It looks like his audio is connected, but not his video. Leslie, I can't hear you, brother. He's almost there. He's there. We just don't have his microphone turned on, or maybe he's muted it. Money Lumas, thank you very much for that super thanks. I really appreciate it. And let's see, he's having trouble. Your audio is not connected. Let's see. One of my cards. Your screen is frozen. We can see you but can't hear you, but that one's not backwards. Let's see. There's a lot of there are a lot of technical errors happening tonight. Leslie, if you can hear me, we can see, he has no microphone. Oh, all right. We'll kind of keep some music going in the background while we're waiting. And I was gonna say, but this one's not backwards. See, yeah, it doesn't work. And his audio is working. It's just we can't hear you. I need one more that says we can't hear you. See, it just says your audio's not working. And that just happens sometimes, folks. Sometimes you can't hear anything. All right, so let's get back to while we're waiting for more people to show up. I was going to tell you about the next week ahead. And where is my calendar? There it is. So the next 2 nights, we have 2 NDEs coming for you. Health, New Life. Let's check out this one. And so we got 2 NDEs in a row for those of you who love NDEs. I didn't realize. Oh, New Life. Let's check out this. Can you hear me? I think you got the YouTube video still playing. I didn't realize. Oh.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That happens all the time. Even I probably would make that mistake too. So nothing to worry about. What is your name and where are you zooming from?
My name is Patricia Solanik and I'm zooming from New Jersey.
All right, cool. Welcome, Patricia. Thanks for joining us. And what do you have to share?
I have a wonderful technology that I have been using. And I've been using it for 7 months. And it's a crystal technology that reflects your light back to you, and you wear it. And it looks like this. It's a little sticker.
It's a sticker. Is
and
it? Is
you
it?
wear it.
Oh, you wear. You just you attach the sticker to your chest.
You can wear it. You can put it on your chest. You can put it on the back of your neck. You can put it on your underwear, inside your bra, in your sock. You can put it anywhere. It's actually a crystal technology that a friend of mine told me about. And it activates the stem cells that have been dormant. And I'm learning that we lose stem cell production at the age of about 35. And wearing this technology apparently is a support system for our meat suits. So in finding out what this really is, you can take it off, you wear it, you put it on, you take it off, and I'll give you more information about it. It's very, very wonderful. Times of regenerative science are actually here. Age reversal is here. And it's just, this is a little mirror that you put on your body.
What happens
and
if it
literally...
What happens if it starts not being so sticky anymore? Like, how do you get the stickiness back?
Well, so this technology is purchased and it comes in a 30-pack of stickers. And you put on the sticker for the first day, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And then you take it out, you let your body rest, rejuvenate, and then you put it back on. If it doesn't stick on you, you can put it inside of your shirt like this. You put it inside and you can wear it like that. And hold on just one second. Let me close my door.
Okay.
So, my apologies.
That's okay. How long has this technology been out for?
It's been out 20 years.
Wow. How long have you been using the product personally?
7 months.
7 months. What have you noticed, like we'll just do it this way. What have you noticed with your own personal health?
Well, I'm 51, and I noticed that my skin has become more luminescent. I found that my chronic pain that was in my body, I have 3 falls on my knee, and as I'm getting older, this is not going away. So I was having shoulder pain. I was having, gut issues. I wasn't maintaining my weight. I didn't have energy. I wasn't sleeping well, the normal stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that's all cleared up?
And yeah.
Wow.
I was having hormone issues. I was getting sweats. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to start praying now because, honestly, I'm not psychic, but I do love the genre of learning who you are, connecting with other people, and that's who I am. I'm a big connector, and I love planet Earth, and my mission has actually activated. And when you learn something, you actually have fun, and it's not work, right?
Yeah.
So I've become right. So my mission is to really raise awareness of what our meat suits really have. We have copper peptides, and we need to learn a little more. So by putting this technology on and learning that we are reflecting our own infrared. So let me ask you a question.
Well, let me ask you a question first. What kind of crystal is in it?
So it is organic, sugar, salt, and amino acids.
Oh, so it's not a crystal that's found organically in the planet and they cut a little slice of it, did they?
Right. So when this is nanotechnology. So when we look at sugar crystals, they actually reflect too, and salt crystals reflect. So when this is reduced to nanotechnology, you can put this in a little patch. And this little patch has a sticky, so it's covered, so you can go swimming with it, you can work out with it, and you wear it. And this is called phototherapy, red light therapy.
Cool.
Are you familiar with phototherapy?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to run. I've got 5 people waiting on me, but if people want to learn more about this, where should they go?
They can go to www.health- a little minus sign, newlife.com. And if you want to email me, I would gladly explain, because we're in very exciting times.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and have a great rest of your weekend.
You too.
Thank you. All right. Leslie's back. Let's see if we can get him let's see if his system is working this time. Leslie, can you hear me? So if you look right here, you see his microphone is there. So it's connected. We just got to know if hopefully I don't know what his problem was. Maybe his light. Leslie, can you hear me? We have no sound from you. Sorry. All right, thanks, Leslie. Maybe you can figure it out and come back. All right, so we see still having problems. Let's go here to... Oh, people want music. Okay, I'm glad that people are starting to like the music. All right, let's check out Kit. Okay, let me see if I can help Kit by asking to start the video. Kit, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hello, all right, you made it.
I can hear you.
Nice to meet you. Are
Oh,
you?
wow, it took me a while to get in.
Well, you're here. Where are you from? New York?
No, I'm from Canada.
Canada, all right. That's your name, Kit?
Yeah, well, Catherine is my
Catherine,
name. Yeah,
okay.
Kit.
All right, well, thank you for joining us, Kit. What would you like to share
Thank you
tonight?
for having me. I wanted to share something with you that happened to me. Do you want me to tell you what happened?
Sure.
Okay. So I went and got my hair cut, and my hair used to be like down to here, and I went and got it cut, and then I went home, and I thought, I'm going to watch something on TV. So I felt tired, so I went and lied down. I turned on my TV, and then it went to like that white fuzz stuff. I don't know what that's called.
Static looking.
It went to that, and then I thought, oh, there's something wrong with the TV. And then I couldn't get up out of bed, like I couldn't lift myself up out of the bed. And then I looked around behind me, and I was lying down in the bed, but I was sitting up in my body. And then I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Like it just was weird. And then I went to the corner of the ceiling in my room, and I could see myself lying on the bed. I could see the TV have that white kind of fuzz going on. And then I went to the door, but I couldn't open the door. Like the bedroom door was closed, and I couldn't open the door. So then I sat down back on the bed again, and then I was just looking at like the blank wall. And then a crack started coming through the wall. And then a hand came out first, and then a man came out, and he had like a black rim hat. And it was, I could only see this part of his face, like from here down. I couldn't see his eyes. And honestly, he was in a suit, like a black suit. And I know it had a red tie. It was a bright red tie. And he held his hand out to me, and he said, I have you now, and there's no way you're going to get away from me. And then I felt terrified. Like I felt really, really scared. And then something shook. It felt like something shook. And then the door of my room opened, and I thought, oh, I must be awake. Like I just thought I was dreaming, is what I thought this all was. And then no, I was still in my bed. I was still lying down. And so I walked down the hallway into my living room, and I have this old kind of it's an old fireplace, but it's not a real one. It's one of those fake ones. And all of a sudden, this stream of like yellow and orange light, just a stream came out of there. And then there were all these people in it, like people and animals and all sorts of things were just swirling through this light. And then I got scared, is what happened again. I got scared again. And I went right back down into the bedroom. And then the TV just kind of flickered about 3 times. And then I was back in my bed again, like almost instantly. I was back in my bed again. And then I woke up.
Now, did you think it was a dream, or did you have the realization that you had an out-of-body experience?
Okay, so after that, I thought it wasn't a dream. I know it wasn't a dream. So I went and saw some people that live here in the city I live in that do this kind of stuff or study this kind of stuff. And they did say, you know, you had an out of body experience. And I'm like, I'm okay with that. I believe in that. Like, I've heard other people that have shared those before, stories. The thing is that I really was curious about was, who was that man? That's what really kind of, and telling me that, you know, I can't get away from him now. So I don't know what that was about. I was wondering if maybe you might have some sort of insight on that.
Oh gosh. You know, it could have been some kind of negative entity. It could have been, you know, some people may call it a ghost. I mean, do you feel like it was humanoid-like, or do you feel it was something else?
Something else.
All right. So I would kind of, you know, I'm not an expert here. I just listen to people talk. And so I'm just kind of giving you my opinion from what I have heard from my guests. I haven't actually had the experience, but to me, it sounds like it was some other type of entity. From what I know, as long as, you know, you keep your sovereignty and just say, hey, get out of here, you know, they can't mess with you. And are you using the word they as in, do you think it was one person or was it multiple people? Would you say it's they or it?
That's weird you questioned that, because I only saw one individual, but it felt like, it felt like there were many.
Right. I was looking I was looking at the chat, and that's what Lisa was asking. And, you know, there's other people. Stacy says it was a demon. You know, everybody here in the chats, their opinion is just as good as mine. Do you feel like you were shook up afterwards, or did it not bother you?
Most definitely. Most definitely I was shook up. Yeah, most definitely. And have been actually really, truly ever since. Like, I try to put it out of my mind, but it's continuously there.
I wonder, do you feel like you were also experiencing sleep paralysis? Like your body, you know, naturally your body is basically paralyzed while you're dreaming. Otherwise you'd be getting up and moving and walking around and stuff, right?
Right. Yeah.
And sometimes people will wake up while their body is still kind of in that paralyzed state, and can be terrifying for people. Do you think that was something different?
No, because when I turned around and looked behind me, I was lying down and I was sitting halfway up in my body before I zooped over there to the side of the room, which was incredibly fast.
Right. What's fascinating to me, and I'm believing you, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I find fascinating is that a lot of people, when they first pop out of their body, they go up to the corner of their ceiling. Like, why do they go to that one spot? You know what I mean? That's interesting. That why do they go to that spot in the, you know, in the corner of their ceiling and look back down? Why?
I don't know.
That's fascinating. Is why do we immediately go there?
Went to the corner of their room. It's kind of good to know. At least I'm not alone.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like, you know, I mean, obviously the being couldn't hurt you. You know, it didn't really do anything. It was maybe frightening, which I'm not trying to belittle that, but you weren't injured in any way.
No, but then I wanted to mention, because those ladies were commenting just really quick, I wanted to mention that after that episode, like a few months went by, and you know, I just don't want to sound loony. That's why this is like, I'm really opening up here, telling this story.
Right.
There were these little black things that were kind of like you could see them like at the corner of corners and stuff. They were like they were like black sort of things. I don't even know how to describe them, but they were around quite a bit. And they haven't been around recently, but the last one was about maybe a month ago.
Do you live in an old house?
Yes, I do.
Like,
Yes.
is it possible there could? Excuse me. Is it possible there could be ghosts in the house?
Well, you know, I have a roommate too, and he was mentioning that there's been things of his personal possessions that have been moved, and he was absolutely sure that, you know, he said he didn't even want to mention it to me until it happened more than once. So that is a possibility. But the thing is that I'm not equipped with knowing how to deal with this kind of stuff, like because I know it's there. Like, I mean, it's obvious. So I don't know how to rid this energy, if you want to call it. Like, maybe you've got some callers or someone that can.
Well, there's about 300 people here in the chat. And they may have they may have good advice for you. If you're up for it, you can leave like your Facebook or your email and invite people to, maybe someone here can help you.
That would be super great. Thank you. I'll do that.
Would you like to either say it or you want to type it in the chat?
I'll type it in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that, as religious people, it wouldn't, it seems simple, and I've done so many near-death experiences where people were in trouble on the other side, and it may sound simple or cliche or what, but even if you just called out to God, whether you're religious or not, it appears that if you call out to God or Jesus, you usually get out of trouble.
So you think that might even just clear this energy away from me?
Well,
because I think it's attached to me, honestly.
Oh, attached to you. Yeah, I don't know.
It seems to travel with me. Like, I've moved, and it's, you know what I mean? It's like I've just lived here only for a year. And that episode happened in another place I lived in. And then those
I didn't
black
realize
little things.
I didn't realize this. I thought this was only a one-time event. It's happened more than once then.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, then it doesn't matter if your house is old or not. And when I meant about calling out to God or Jesus was if you find yourself outside of your body again and you see this entity again, then you either call out to God and Jesus. I think I've heard a guest say, like by Jesus' name, you get out of here or whatever, that it's worked. But I'm not an expert on removing entities, so I wish I was, because I wish I could give you the right advice to help you.
It's just such an odd thing in my life, like and it's hard to talk about this with your average Joe, like next door, or even some family members, even, because a lot of people don't believe in this sort of thing. And to be honest, either did I, but I have no choice but to believe now with the situations that's happened with me. And I know that it wasn't dreaming. I know that for a fact.
What did the being tell you again? Like, I've got you and you can't get away?
Yeah. I've got you now, and there's no way, is my speaking, you're not going to get away from me.
Was it a male or female voice?
It was a male.
And was this all like telepathic communication, you feel?
I have no idea.
Here's someone in the chat. Oliver says, when you see the entity again, simply say, no, you don't have control over me. Show me who you are and what you want. I don't want to
see him anymore.
Unfortunately, I've had over 600 guests, and I've had some that help people clear entities or entity attachments. Unfortunately, I can't remember anybody's. I do a daily show, so it's hard for me to. I can't off the top of my head, go see John Doe. He'll help you out because I just don't remember. Perhaps if you scroll through my videos, you may see something about it, entities or something, and maybe somebody that will kind of lead you in that way.
I was thinking that I will do that, and thank you. I was thinking though I was a part of the occult here for 7 years.
Uh-oh. So are you saying that you were a part and it sounds like to me you possibly would have called out or reached out for this? You invited it. Is it possible you invited this entity into your life?
You mean like deliberately invited it?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't want like this evil being after you, but maybe if you got into seances or Ouija boards or something, accidentally you might have invited an entity into your life.
So how would I rid of that then?
That's the problem. I don't have the answers for you. Again, I'm sorry. I'm just but they're suggesting, and if you go back, once you get off, go back and scroll backwards through the chat, because I've said people are saying that scroll back through the chat, and there's a lot of good information that people are saying for you.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't help you. I wish I could.
It's okay. Someone's going to help me. I know it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So
once the entity, once you're freed from this entity and everything's good to go, please come back and let us know.
I will. I saved your digits and everything.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, have a good night. All right, that was interesting. I wish I could, I wish I remembered the entity removal people off the top of my head so I could directly help her, but I just couldn't. But thank you guys for helping out in the chat. Well, unfortunately, probably everybody charges.
Hello, how are you?
iPhone, how are you?
All right. And what you doing now?
I can't. Can you repeat that? I can barely hear you.
Well, I'm here to make best friends. Yeah, we got a lovely person in the frog.
Oh, he's gone. I couldn't understand that. All right, so let me get back here to. I never even got through what's going on for the week. So Martin Luther King's Day is Monday. I have a UFO podcast that I'm going to be talking about a UFO on Wednesday. No, that's Tuesday. I'm going to be interviewing someone about dreams on Thursday, maybe another dream analysis expert. On Friday, I have another NDE to record. And on Saturday, I don't know what that was about. And then next week, one person I've had on a long time ago. She's a famous psychic, a television psychic from the UK. Her name is Nikki Allen. And I haven't talked to her in like 2 years, and we're going to have her back. She's gotten really big on TikTok. And good for her. And I think she's got a new book out, and hopefully we can get her predictions for 2023. I think she's going to be giving that as well. So that should be really interesting. And it's interesting to have another dream analysis expert. It's been a while since I've had one. I've had about, I think at least 3, maybe 4. And interestingly enough, they all are different. You would think that they would, have the same information or the same analysis, or I guess that's the way you'd say it, the same analysis, the same meanings behind dreams. I think there's some that's actually common, but they don't. All right, who is the Paranormal Intelligence Agency? It's the PIA instead of the CIA. We'll see who this is. Let me do ask to start video. No, I didn't put any music. I forgot to put some music on while I'm talking. I gotta keep remembering that. Keep the music going. Maybe he'll make it back. Leslie, if you're there, maybe you've got your audio situation figured out. PIA is gone too. All right. Okay. Leslie Kings, thank you for that. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you for those super thanks. We really appreciate that, Leslie. All right, so we still have our friend here from England. We'll see if he has anything paranormal to share with us.
Okay, so I'm really shocked. Okay, I will tell you something that you never believe. All right?
Hold on 1 second. I can't see you.
I was joining you on my phone. I was joining you, and
Yes.
then I made that low voice and said like, "Hello."
Well, that was you?
I did that low voice. So it's okay. It's okay. It's not a ghost. Everyone saying in the comments it's a ghost, and it's not a ghost actually. It was my voice, and I'm 19 years old, so I'm trying to do that voice so people they get confused, say, "Who the hell is that?" And they go.
Well, thanks for letting us know, because I was wondering who that was. Have you had anything? Have you seen a UFO? Have you had anything paranormal happen to you in your life?
Well, I use my low voice, my throat, so I do like, "Hello, how are you?" So I don't know if you have Discord. Like, are you the broadcaster of the Discord? Because I'm getting confused, when I'm joining your Discord.
All right, let me do this for you. I need to run to the next guest, but if you look in the description below the video, there is the link. There is a link to my Discord, and you can join. There's like over 500 people
I
there.
already. That's so satisfying voice. But I already joined. I wrote Discord, and I already joined. Like, I'm here. But there's so many people joined. There's
Right.
so many.
Right. All right, I'm going to run to the next person. If you can think of something paranormal to share with us, let us know. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was going to say goodbye first, but let's see if this guest, Flowing Brook 1, thank you very much for that super thanks. We really appreciate it. If you can hear me, here we go. Oh, wow, it's John. Whoa, all right. He's back. Welcome back, Brother John. Where have you been?
Hang on, I'm just sorting a bit of rubbish out here. What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
The problem is I can't see what's going on here. I can see if I paused.
I see you. I hear you. For those of you who don't know, this is John Scott, author of God's Mountain, near-death experiencer.
Hang on, something's a bit delayed here. I can see.
I think the sound you're getting is from YouTube and not from Zoom.
Should I go to Zoom? I'll go to Zoom or YouTube.
Oh no, we're on Zoom together. Just turn off your YouTube sound and use your Zoom sound.
Okay, done it. Gotcha. Yeah.
Do you hear me? You hear me?
Yes, mate. Sorry about that. A little bit of confusion.
All right, it's great to have you back. It's been a long time. Where Everybody in the
Yeah,
chats, everybody in the chat's excited to see you back.
Thank you, everyone. I thought it was a bit of a joke because I was sick and tired of seeing my phone ID. And it's like, because I got a Huawei Chinese phone, and of course that seems to be a little bit nefarious nowadays, politically. So I changed it to Paranormal Intelligence Agency. So just as a joke, just to rev you up a bit,
Yeah, I was saying it's the PIA.
Yeah, the PIA. Yeah, God, hope for Jesus. It's a joke, everyone. It's a joke, all right? There was a lady on. I just came on because I've just been doing chores and stuff, and there was a lady coming on, and that was the previous lady.
Yeah, that was the one that has an entity attacking her. Can you help her?
Yeah, I did. If anybody wants to check it out, because I saw a very powerful entity that was attached to her Svadhisthana chakra, I think, from behind. That's the second chakra, the orange one. I severed it because I thought, it's gotten right into her. That chakra, by the way, a chakra is for people who don't know what that is. It's a Sanskrit word, and they're spinning wheels of energy that you have 7 of them situated throughout your whole body in a vertical alignment. So if you can remember the acronym, I think it's an acronym, ROY-GB, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Mm-hmm. That allows you to remember the colors. It's the colors of the rainbow. So, and as we grow, obviously, the red one is your base, the Muladhara chakra, which is, they've got so many petals, and there's a whole psychology behind it, a whole mystical, metaphysical discourse behind these spinning wheels of light. They're not evil at all. But if they're neither good nor evil, but what happens as we grow from birth to death, our energy naturally rises, right? And we start to open these energy centers. You'd probably know this through your practice being a chiropractor, Jeff. You would feel extra energies, and a lot of people who are body workers end up eventually picking up on the energies that emit from these energy centers. And I just noticed that this lady, she had one attached to her little orange chakra at the back. That's where the energy goes in. The energy goes in from behind, and then it manifests in the front, and then it zigzags up through your body like kind of like a lightning bolt, from the back to the front, back to front, back to front, all the way up to your all-seeing eye. And if anything happens, say for example, and I'm not saying this in particularly about this particular woman, but say, well, a lot of women, because I used to do a lot of healings, and a lot of women would have a lot of contamination in that area from sexual abuse, for example. And that happens probably around, depending on, the predator to victim ratio. A lot of women would end up getting a contamination in that chakra. Now, what happens is that energy then goes into the gland system, and then from the gland system, it manifests into your endocrine system or whatever. It goes into your parasympathetic nervous system, and it can cause illness, right, many years later. So you would see a lot of people with fibromyalgia, especially women, or they would have uterine disorders. And a lot of these things may be connected to energies that have been negatively attached to them on a physical plane, not always on a physical. So if you've had, especially during your teens, because that's when you're opening up to your sexuality, and that chakra is really starting to determine where you fit in the world, your sexual activity. That's why it's so important not to have them contaminated and opened properly in a proper way. And that's originally what marriage was meant for, to remain a virgin until marriage. Then when that chakra is opened, it really makes a powerful imprint in the psychology of the person. So this is all contaminated now during to the decay in our sexual activities around the world. But people don't understand the energies behind why we have marriage, why we have rituals. So when you open it up through trauma, you can rip these chakras, you can rip them open, and that's when negative entities, which could be attached onto the perpetrator, they can, just like a gateway, they portal their way in and they attach on. Many years ago, I did a healing on a monk of 18 years. He derobed, and he asked me to work on him, which was a big honor. And when I was working on him, I felt this energetic retraction, and it just sort of like vacuumed in very quickly. It sucked in, boom. And I said, oh, and I said to him, well, what was that? And he said, you saw it. I said, yes, all I got was a glimpse that it was female. It had a very sort of like a very, not a nasty energy. I said, it's been with you a while. He said, yeah. He says, no one's been able to see it. And what it was, and this is really trippy, is that in his past life, he used to be a Roman senator, and he had abused young women through his power. And therefore that woman in his next incarnation, which is now, he ended up becoming a monk because he couldn't have sexual relationships because she attached between his mental plane and his causal body, which was entwined throughout his subtle body system. So every time he tried to have a relationship, he did get married before he became a monk, mind you, he just couldn't perform. So I said, well, this is ridiculous. So he ended up becoming a monk for 18 years, and he remained a monk, and he knows of her. He found her, through deep meditation.
How are you able to sense these entities in people?
I can only speak for myself, Jeff. Like I said, I did healings for many, many, many years after my near-death experience. And for the viewers that don't know, I've done quite a few podcasts with Jeff. And I dedicated myself to understanding the energetic system. And healing was one of the gifts I came back with. But I never charged because I felt like I just thought money would contaminate the purity of it. And what it was basically was I wanted to do it through the sheer... the humility of learning to work out what these things are. And it was so vast. I mean, so it started off, to answer your question, I went and trained with someone who was, she was a fellow from the Psychic Institute of London. She's now passed away. I won't mention her name because she's passed on. And initially, we learned how to feel energies with your hands. So the energies could be cold or hot, depending, sometimes tingling in your hands. And your left hand is generally the receiver and the right hand is a sender, because we're a big energetic circuit. So you learn how to circuit the energy through yourself. Then you would feel the energy. You'd run your hands probably about, so far from the body, and you can feel hot spots. And then me personally, I started to see areas that were black. And then I realized, that was like an energetic block. And so these black areas were probably the early stages of cancer or illness, not necessarily cancer, but when energy gets blocked, it's not flowing, it creates stagnation and then coagulation, and then it starts to work its way into the physical realms. So I initially did that for about 15 years, but then I realized during other meditations that I was working with, I could see it globally. I could see whole countries, I could see areas, forests. And this happened in my NDE. If you remember, I don't know if I ever mentioned that, but I remember during my NDE, I was swirling around the planet and I could see whole areas of forests getting dark. And intuitively, because when you're in that state, it's so immediate, and I just knew that it was dying, that it was in a process of dying. So how I discovered with humans, I thought, microcosm, macrocosm, microcosm, macrocosm. So meaning a human being is a universe in and of themselves. And so it's not a great leap to think about the planet as, it is a living entity, by the way, with lots of organic interconnection between all life. And so, you can go into the fish kingdom, the insect kingdom, the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom. And then you've got the four etheric energies of, earth, air, fire, water, and some work with 6, wood, and, water and spirit. So, I mean, it is a really vast concept. And so for me, I was learning about them, but I was also learning about myself. And so I realized, as I said, started with people, and then I started seeing energies in nature. And I started just walking down the road. I was like too open, and I would see people with grey auras, and I knew they'd been smoking a lot of marijuana or drugs, for example. It gets quite, look, I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of healers out there who understand this. And so when we talk about it in terms of, say, religious iconography, you see the pictures with the golden halo often put around saints' heads. this is a classic example of energy. They're energy fields. And so often you talk to, say, a minister or a priest or a cardinal or a bishop, and they don't, you talk about the energies and they don't know what you're talking about. I said, yeah, but all your pictures depict the energy. It's right there. The energy field, you're showing it. And they go, oh, we just think that's attributed to a saint because they've got good behavior, and they put a little gold halo around their head. But no, it's energy.
Right. What technique did you use to remove the entity?
Oh, I had a very powerful technique. And it's very rare. It's called the technique without technique. And I picked it up from Bruce Lee. Right. So I don't have a technique. Right?
What did you do?
Well,
We're going to have to pause for a second. Fascinating that I asked him what did he do and his computer's locking up.
Become empty of all thoughts. And then I would call nothing like an unstable.
John, hold on. John, hold on. You're totally locked up. You back now? Nope, he's still locked up.
Yeah, I'm always back.
You back?
Is it still locked up? You want me to leave and then come back and then call up again?
No, let's just wait a second. Sometimes we just maybe got some interruption, I think you're back now. You look like you're moving in real time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and it's amazing. I was going to say this, and someone else in the chat also said this. Exactly at the time you were going to tell us what you did, then everything froze.
Okay, so maybe I'm not meant to talk about that because I have specific techniques that I've developed intuitively, and as well, it depends, and it has something to do with my near-death experience. Because everyone goes to, obviously you've done enough interviews now to know that there's different levels of NDEs. And for me, it's not a competition. It's not like saying anything's better than anything else. It's about the level that you can comprehend depending on one's karma. I do believe it's connected with karma from previous lives. So if one gets a certain level, then that's meant to be for them. And of course, there's commonalities with many NDEs. As soon as you leave your body, it's an out-of-body experience. But it goes on and on and on, as we know. I mean, there's levels within levels within levels. And spirit won't, and I'll say this, spirit won't let you go to levels that you're not privy to because of not just karma, but if you come back with information that is possibly too profound and humanity's not ready for it, then it can actually turn into negative actions. It can turn out as a negative action.
Have you? I don't know if we've talked about this, but have you seen did you see the future in your NDE? And if so, can you share what you saw?
Well, okay, when we talk about future, you've got to be careful with time because on the other side, there is no time. Okay, so I was on the other side for about 2 days, but it was millions of years on the other side. I was taken right back more into the past than the future because our future is not entirely set. We can change it. We can change our future depending on what we do right now with our consciousness. And so what we have is, and I have to be frank, there's an agenda to manipulate what you're thinking or what somebody wants you to focus on. And so we have these nefarious humans who want to infiltrate or influence humanity towards a direction. Me, I don't care what they say. They can't influence my mind because my mind is free. Now, the danger is when someone says a comet is going to hit on X day. What do you think when 10 million people or 1 billion people think about that? They create that energy field and it becomes a law of attraction. So often we don't hear about positive events, right? We often hear about negative ones, which is, in and of itself is a metaphysical dialogue on the structure of consciousness, both singular and collective. Now, I'm sounding very technical. It is very technical. And this is why I say that enlightened ideas or even future events, it's like you're touching the real paranormal World Wide Web, not the internet, but you're touching consciousness itself. So if I say X is going to happen, now if it doesn't happen, they'll say, oh, he's a fake or he's a false preacher or whatever. It's like, no, not at all, because by bringing that event out, you expose it. And if humanity, which I'm hoping and praying for, this is what we're all praying for, once the collective become mature and understand how that they can control their own consciousness, not to be manipulated by mass media, which orchestrate fear, lack, they've got agendas and they'll put them out on 500 channels, but they're all saying the same thing. Turn your television off and start to put thought forms out. Now, a good example is Native Americans. They will see a storm coming. They don't name storms. It's very dangerous because as soon as you give it a name, it empowers 300 million people giving it a name. Therefore, it puts energy into that storm. And don't think you can't manipulate storms. You can. It's the element of water. And so we know that we can change water. Masaru Emoto, the scientist, knows that we can change the cellular structure of water. So we can change the water coming out of the clouds. This is what weathermen do, weather people, shamans, things like that. So as you said, to answer your question, Jeff, yeah, I mean, we've got a few powerful events coming up, April, May, right? Economic ones, that's all I'm saying. It's going to be a rough year, really rough. And when people have vested a lot of their life into material gain, they're going to suffer the most. The ones who haven't won't. Not saying we won't be affected. Everyone is affected because everything's interconnected. It's just that people spend their whole life investing in, say, getting a mortgage and getting a house, and they'll get 3 jobs, and they'll work on that house and build it up, and then boom, devalued overnight.
Yeah.
So we're on the brink of something major here economically. That's all I can say as far as that.
I want to get your take on something. Did you see the video I posted last night? I guess it would be yesterday morning for you.
Not yet. No, I haven't.
The video was about that basically reincarnation is a trap. We're forced to keep coming back here over and over again. And, what you see in your NDE is basically, you're just getting tricked to come back. Since you've had an NDE, what is your take on that?
Well, firstly, I refute that. I think that's a flat out lie. And that's, again, another manipulation, okay? Reincarnation is only controlled by its cousin called karma. Karma means action, right? And I did see somebody wanted to, a lot of New Age concepts are creeping into reincarnation. And I say, don't think just because Hindus and Buddhists have reincarnation that people from India and Tibet and places like that, they don't get it wrong. Reincarnation is highly complex because you're dealing with karma, which is absolutely the most. I spent 10 years reflecting on it after my own NDE. Now, to give you an example, the variables, Jeff, some of us, okay, I wrote out some papers. I was going to actually do a podcast with you just about reincarnation, and I wrote out some footnotes. I've lent them to a friend and I haven't got them back yet. Some people, one of the arguments is, I'll give you the pro and the against. I'm pro linear incarnation within time because we incarnate into time, okay? So we have consecutive reincarnations where other people will say, no, we're living them all at once. Well, there's problems with that. If you're living all your reincarnations simultaneously, the numbers of the population of humanity are up to 8 billion now. Where are all the new souls coming from? There's a problem there. Secondly, if you are living all of these lives, we're all at different genders, different ages, different time frames. Some of the previous lives that I may have had are under the water now. So how can I be living in that time frame, right? See, time's a very weird thing, okay? It's elastic, it's plastic. but it works on a vertical plane. So the more vertical, the more enlightened one becomes, and eventually you have an NDE. There's no time, but only from the point of God's perspective, the absolute, okay? It can see all the variables. Now, as far as incarnations, when you have an incarnation, the idea is to drag all the knowledge of your previous incarnations into this one. That's how you become enlightened. I'm giving you a pearl here, okay? So what happens is, it doesn't matter whether they're alive or dead. What happens is, it's the information. My argument is, where's the bridge between these incarnations? And nobody answers that. Where's the metaphysical bridge with these simultaneous incarnations? Where? Give me the nuts and bolts of it, right? It's in the causal plane and the astral body. Now, most people haven't studied the subtle body systems, but the causal body is like a recorder. You have Jeff's record on now. John has John's recorder. Now, one clue that's an obvious clue is when you die, you have a life review. If someone says they haven't had a life review, they haven't gone far enough, because that's where your causal body discharges this life's incarnation, not all the other previous lives. You wouldn't need a life review if you were living all of these incarnations, right? You wouldn't need one, because you'd know, you'd be getting all the information. But where's the metaphysical bridge? How are you receiving that information from all those previous incarnations? This is a question that I'm positing as a rhetorical, right? So what happens? So what happens is,
go ahead.
Yeah. No. You've got the question.
I was going to say that, I think we do have a memory wipe before we come back.
Yes, we do.
I mean,
we have to have that.
Because we couldn't handle maybe the previous life, right?
Well, that's a good question, and it can go both ways, because say, for example, you were a Buddha or Jesus, heaven forbid. Your ego would pop up and go, hey, I'm Jesus at 5 years old. They go, what? This guy's off his nutter. They'd put you into a psych ward. So enlightenment, past a certain stage, is very personal. People who are enlightened shouldn't really share it, and don't, because it's that's the personal aspect of your relationship between you and God, right? So if someone says they are enlightened, you can pretty well think that they're not. I'm not enlightened, and I'm saying that honestly. I'm not enlightened, because I still lose my temper, I get angry, I still have judgments going on. And this is something that we all work with for this life. And all of those will be seen when I die. But if you can accrue more positive actions, that's what drives karma forward. And then your next incarnation, you're born with less of the veil covering. So people who don't remember their past lives, they're quite heavily veiled, okay? Some kids do remember their past lives. That means they're veiled, they've got an enormous amount of positive karma. And so the ability to see those past lives, you look back and you go, oh, maybe I was Native American or Mongolian or South American, Greek, Roman senator, they're endless. Female, male, child, different races. We have all been different races, right? Most of 99%, well, 90, I won't say percentages because that's ridiculous, but people who are old souls generally have had a lot of lives here. So they have less attachment to things. They're less material. It's the new souls coming in that are being manipulated by those who know about this, right? Because there are dark forces on the planet that manipulate the newbie souls coming in. And so they say, get your dream house, get your dream this, get your dream man, get your dream woman, get your dream car. And they all get into debt, and then they're imbued and weighed down with materialism. And they're the ones that suffer the most. So all the old souls have come back to try to lift that and educate them. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah. You don't think it's possible that the whole theory of karma itself is just a tool to trick people in coming back by saying you have bad karma, you have to go back and fix it?
But notice they always say bad karma. Karma just means action. It's neutral. There's positive and negative. And what you want to do is balance more positive with negative. So we all get negative thoughts. We all do negative actions. We swear at people. We under our breath. That's energy. So what you have to do is learn methods, you know, because there are people out there who know these.
Uh-oh, he froze again.
Advanced methods to get you to not be attached, because we're,
You're back.
Unstable. Let's go.
You know what's funny is, let me stop you for 1 second. It's funny is that about a year and a half ago, one time, John and I were just hanging out after a live stream, and we were chatting, and we would mention a certain word, which I'm not going to mention here, but every time we would say this one word, it was like the phone, we were on something, you know, I'm not going to say what platform we were on, but it would just like disconnect our call. And we had to make up a code word for that word. So it's pretty interesting. It's interesting too that we're having a little trouble tonight.
Well, maybe it's, you know, I don't attribute too much to it, you know, just sort of, it's just happening. It seems to be the internet is playing up a lot lately. But as far as karma goes, Jeff, as I said, there's so many variables, and people, yes, have been saying it's a trap. Yes, but it's not it's not a trap per se. It's only a trap if you make it a trap. There are ways out. And the ways out of releasing yourself from the karmic cycle of rebirth after rebirth is to become enlightened, to become awake and to become aware. In Christian terminology, it would be stop sinning. Stop sinning, right? You've got good habits, the Beatitudes, you know. We've all got gifts, and then you've got the negative attributes. Don't harm people, you know. I mean, just try to be a good person. And the more you become awake, then you think, and so, look, it's not over yet, because the problem is Earth is the densest planet in the whole universe with life from source here, right? We've all come from everywhere. Right, and I'm talking starseed stuff. It sounds a bit kooky for people who are religious, and it's a bit scary. Well, you know, they were promised that the Archangel Michael would come with 10,000 upon 10,000 angels to help, right? That means angels will enter into this physical dimension and help people. Now, why would they need to come back? Let's ask some logical questions. Why would angels need to come back unless we were in stress or distress, or something was going wrong on the planet? Now we see an enormous amount of negativity on the rise, right? That's a good sign. It's not a good outcome, but it's merely signs of the times, right? That means something very big is about to manifest. This is all a negative build-up before a positive release. You still there?
Yeah. You know, we've done so many podcasts together, and I don't think I've ever asked you this question. Are you coming back here, your next life, or are you going somewhere else?
I know I have to come back. I'll be coming back.
You've already decided?
Yes, I've already chosen to come back. I'm not scared of this place.
Well, why have you decided to come back?
Because I understand my role. I understand my energy role now. I don't want to get away. People who want to get away are trying to escape something, and what they're trying to escape is themselves. Right? Ultimately, they're trying to escape a discomfort, right? Something that they're not happy with. Sure, we suffer, and we do suffer. We have pains and ailments, illnesses, sickness, tragedy. It's everywhere. But once we have to transmute this planet, all of us have to get in, roll our sleeves up, forget about becoming rich. Forget about all of that, because we're all coming. Most of us are going to be coming back. It's not a punishment, but it's about the bigger picture, the real purpose for humanity being here at this time. The real purpose, not a pseudo purpose. We are here to defeat negative forces that have held control of this planet for possibly up to 10, maybe 100,000 years. And we can just look on the news. Look what's going on, the lies. It's everywhere. We can't trust politicians. We can't trust lawyers. People are doing the wrong things, stealing, violence, drug abuse. We're being attacked. It's like 360 warfare. Just smile at them, because everyone that's doing negative will have to come back. Hell is not on the other side. It's down here. Otherwise, they wouldn't send enlightened beings to Earth. They wouldn't need to, right? The enlightened beings come to Earth to conquer the negative attributes and say, follow what I've done, not who I am. Follow my actions. Get rid of all the attachments. Get rid of all your desire, your greed, sexual immorality, all the negative attributes that keep you anchored to the earth plane, locked in time. Time is the prison, time, right? Time. There is a place in human consciousness where time slows down considerably whilst you're incarnate. I can tell you that much. You can get there. It is not a trap. The only thing that is stopping people getting there is their will to work on themselves, like searching for the Holy Grail. We've heard these stories, you know. They're metaphors for an internal journey. If you really want to become enlightened, you can, but you've got to work hard. You have to work at it. It's not easy. It's no good just going to church and putting money in the plate or whatever. It takes work. You have to go over it again. You're going to make mistakes. Everyone does. I still make mistakes. It's like walking and you fall in the pothole and you go, geez, I did it again. But as long as you're aware of it, as long as you're aware that you're making these mistakes, and it's not a big, bad mistake. The mistakes get less and less and less. It's not like, you know, murder is a big one. But it's like if you say something bad to someone, people beat themselves up because our guilt circuit, we overwork our guilt circuit. Try to get rid of the guilt and the doubt and just trust that you can make it. I mean, my God, I would never have believed me. I was an atheist and I had a near-death experience, and people are now looking at me for answers. And I thought, God, really? I'm still asking questions, Jeff. I am, I'll be honest. I'm still asking questions. I'm like a child, and I'm thinking, well, I used to look up to the elders, and many of them have passed away now. Now people are like looking at me. I'm thinking, oh, so I'm kind of like the light bearer. Well, one of them, there's millions of them out there. There's healers, there's women doing some incredible work. Women, you know, they're not in their true spiritual power yet. And it's the women that are going to drag the men into their true spiritual power. I say this with true sincerity, not gender wars. I'm talking about the women finding their spiritual power, their essence of who they really are as divine creative beings. Then they can guide the men, because the men are even below that. This is why we have all of this stuff happening in the world with gender wars and the toxic masculinity and all this political correctness, the stuff that's swirling around the internet with Andrew Tate and all of these, you know, these people. They're not spiritual people. Yes, they might have moral, you know, superiority, but to become really spiritual is you got to be humble. You know, you got to really work on yourself and learn to reflect more than project. But it's the women who'll save us. I have great hope for the women. If they can get up and really help the men rather than attack them, men need help. And so once you bring men up to their true spiritual power, then we'll all come up together. You know what I'm saying? But someone's pitting us against each other. It's like a civil war, gender wars. And what does that do? Brings us all down.
Do you feel like your life review was you watching and witnessing it, or was it actually a life relive where you were reliving it?
A bit of both, right? Because the thing is, when I talk about a life review, it sounds like we've got to get into metaphysical dualism, meaning God and self. Now, during my NDE, I was separate from the Creator, but then there was a point when I merged, and I don't know if I've spoken about that. That's the pure, absolute non-duality. That's when you merge with the Creator. A few people have had that in their NDEs. And then I separated again. So with me, I didn't see one life. I saw many lives. And again, when I reached the light, even before I had the multiple lives, Jeff, I knew I'd been to the light millions of times. Now, this is very disconcerting, extremely disconcerting, given the amount of time involved. Millions of lives, and not just Earth lives, Jeff. Yeah. So I'm thinking, God, okay, so millions of lives. What if one life was 3,000 Earth years? I'm just hypothesizing here. I don't know how old the universe is. There is no time when it comes to that sort of stuff. But with the life review, you're not only seeing yourself, right, putting into that, the Creator has the absolute overview of all your actions, but not just your actions, because this is when the astral body comes in. I could affect 100,000 people with a negative action. And you can't absorb that with a normal consciousness. You can only do it in spirit. So 100,000 people, you may have caused other people to be killed and die. If you're working in a munitions factory, you're not actually shooting the gun, but you're making the bullets to kill them. That's karma. A drug dealer on the street can get put into jail, for passing drugs and selling drugs. But a munitions salesman who's selling weapons overseas, they're causing just as much karma, if not worse, right? The suffering from people trapped in mines, making the munitions, the damage to the earth, the munitions that kill people, So their karma is phenomenally negative. It's much bigger than, say, the individual drug dealer. And I'm just using that as an hypothesis. Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that we could ever pay off our karmic debt? Because
yes.
It is,
Absolutely.
because I would think
Absolutely.
every time you have your mind wiped and you come back, you're always going to start collecting more debt.
True, but what you do, like me, and I can only talk from my own experience, is I made a decision before my NDE, because I was in a bit of a mess, right, pre-NDE. And I said, look, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to lie, or I don't want to do this. So I had made, my will had made that affirmation. It was an affirmation with no connection to spirituality. So once I had decided to do it of my own volition, then spirit rewards you. It gives you these little rewards. You get snippets and you go, oh, what was that? And you go, oh, that was a spiritual activity. Really? And so you want to get more. It's like it is like a drug. It's like a spiritual drug. And this is what the metaphor, getting water from the fountain of the water from the spring of immortality. What they're doing is they're giving a little bit of mana, like manna in the wilderness, manna and quail. So you're getting a little bit of spiritual insight. And then you want another one, and so you purify. And you can't purify everything at once. It's impossible. So you just pick one. You say, look, I'm really rude. I swear a lot, so I cut swearing out. I still swear because I think sometimes it gives a bit of impact. Only in the right time, not in front of kids. But having said that, yes, you can, if you're willing, even some of the darkest people that could be in jail, they can turn. People in jail, even murderers, they can change. And you say, right, I accept that I've done wrong, right? So what you're doing is you're not making the confession to your buddy, right? You're making it to the creator. You may not even believe in a creator, but the absolute is always listening, right? And so once you start that initial journey, you're on the journey to the Holy Grail. And the Holy Grail is personal for each and every person who makes it, right? And so not everyone can escape the reincarnation cycle. Many people are paying off debt, many, as we speak. But there's an old saying, the creator only ever gives you what you can handle. Yes, it's incredibly, I see some incredible suffering out there. Makes me weep. Physically, I cry about it. But those people eventually, they do get a break. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes people die in horrific circumstances. Sometimes we can't answer everyone's individual karma because karma is individual, but we all are connected when we're down here. So everything affects everything. But so once you get more positive karma or positive actions, you start to disappear. You become invisible. You become more reclusive. It's just automatic. You ascend. It's part of the ascension process, Jeff. It is part of the ascension process.
I've had a handful of guests who've had negative or hellish NDEs. Why do you think people have those?
Well, I've pondered about that through many years. And again, human consciousness itself is vast. When we're only dealing with 5 sense perceptions, when you talk about, say, the Jungian archetypes, the subconscious, the collective, there's a collective subconscious and there's also a singular subconscious, sometimes often lurking in the delta theta realm, which is your deep states of sleep, right? The REM state is the theta realm and delta realm is even deeper, or vice versa. Delta is very deep. So those realms can still contain energies. They still contain dualistic energies here on Earth. Yeah. And this is where you get into areas of demonology and demons and sorcery and things like that. So people can actually produce negative archetypes, right? And that ends up getting imbued in what we call the astral envelope, and that can hang around the planet. So, for example, a pub carries a lot of negative astral dirt, so to speak, right? Because people are drinking alcohol, there's fights, punch. So all this negative, and it just hangs over the area. You walk into a place, ooh, the energy doesn't feel right. So if you have an out-of-body experience, and people don't even realize that they might have dark thoughts because they've never gone in that deep. And so they're confronted with their own fears, their own doubts, their own negative attributes. I mean, Christianity, for God's sakes, it's imbued with fear. You'll burn in hell and the burning flame, the lake of fire and things like that. So that fear builds up. You imagine 2 billion people collectively thinking of a burning lake. So some guy who's really Christian and very devout, he might have an out-of-body experience on the table. His heart stops, whatever, and he sees it. He'll actually see it. Right. And look, most people are good people. Most people are generally good people that go to church. There's only a few bad apples. The bad apples, if you say a really bad person, then you might get shown that for a reason for you to do more positive karma, more positive actions from your previous negative actions. Who was it? Howard Storm, I think. Howard Storm, he was a famous NDEer. He said he saw a lot of negative demons and stuff, but he was an atheist and he was bullying Christians at university, according to him. He was really picking on them and being nasty. And so he got a nasty NDE and he ended up becoming a minister. See what I'm saying? So that was his individual path. I thought I was going to go and study theology myself. I wanted to, but then I wasn't guided down that path for specific reasons. So I started to study world religions and I studied their cosmologies, and that to me is where all the meat is, because we've got 2 competing cosmologies, reincarnation versus non-reincarnation. And for me, you can't have 2 cosmologies. Either one exists or one or the other doesn't. One of them has to be true. Now, the universe is a pretty infinite place. One life sounds very limited. One person, one life, one God. No, that's very, very limited for me. It's far too narrow. Far too narrow. There's billions of species of life just on this planet alone. Trillions. Fish, insects, birds, plants, all kingdoms. And yet they say only you and God exist. That's impossible, because I can prove it. There's animals. Animals have a soul. Yeah.
I've had 2 NDE guests that have said that the God that we pray to, or, that we assign as God, is actually one of 12 gods.
Okay, Jeff, what's God's name?
God.
Right, that's a title. That's not a name.
Right.
That's a title. It's not a name.
But have you heard of that theory that there are actually our God is just one of 12?
Well, I mean, go to the Hindus and the Buddhists. They have thousands of gods. Thousands. Before we had Christianity, we had tens of thousands of gods. Paganism has everything becomes a god. So 12 gods. I mean, define God. Little gods. Medium gods, big gods, absolute God. I mean, gods are it's just a throwaway word now. God has imbued meaning, depending on who uses it.
I think both of them referred to this God as the creator of our universe.
Okay, I'll give you another pearl here for listeners, right? The word God is an anagram of dog, D-O-G. Now, it's an ancient Egyptian construct. Somebody made it up due to the dog star. Right, the dog star Sirius A. Now, there was a lot of Egyptian mythology and Egyptian religion is imbued around Osiris and Isis. And the star Sirius was Isis, the dog star. Now, in America, you have what? The dog days, which are the hottest days of summer. And this was all involved with the flooding of the Nile and all of this stuff. So when we use the term God, what we're doing, it's an anagram of God. Is an anagram of dog, which is directly giving your energy to a star, which is in effect is paganism. A star is not God, okay? Now, a lot of great philosophers before me, Alan Watts, Robert Anton Wilson, Tim Leary, a lot of great minds have already figured this out. But the rest of the world says, no, God's God. It's like, no, it's an anagram of dog. And the dog itself was a symbol of Anubis. Anubis, the jackal-headed god of the underworld. So this is where the love of dogs came through our mythology. Dogs have always been man's best friend. So all of these little snippets are all attached to this mythology that goes way back to Egypt. Now, anybody can look up Google and look up the Egyptian Ark of the Covenant. And it's not Ark, A-R-K, it's really Ak, A-H-K. And on top of that ark, with the poles and the golden box, they've got a dog that sits on it. Now, why would they have a dog sitting on the Ark of the Covenant? Because he was the protector of the underworld, right? And then later on, the Greek mythology changed it to Cerberus, the three-headed dog that guarded the gates to hell, right? So this all goes back to Egypt. But a lot of people don't want to do the research. They go, oh, no, God's God. But find out the origins of the etymology. I get these things in vision. And then I go through the etymological link. But, names of gods. And I say, what's God's name? No one can tell you. This is the greatest mystery in the universe. What is God's name? If you can find God's name, they say that name can shatter the universe. It can destroy it and create it. It's got that much power.
Now, don't some people call God Yahweh?
That's a Hebrew version, pre-Aramaic. So you've got Hebrew, Paleo-Hebrew, and Aramaic. So Yahweh or Jehovah, that's taken from the acronym of Yud-Veh-Hor-Veh, which is the Tetragrammaton, Tetragrammaton is a Greek word, but Yud-Veh-Hor-Veh are the four worlds on the tree of life in Kabbalistic study. So Yahweh or Yahweh or Yahweh, these are all just different variations, right, of the Yud-Veh-Hor-Veh, Yahweh, Jehovah, right? So, and the people are adding vowels, and this is one of the great secrets. This is one of the great mysteries. There are 72 names of God, but it's not God's name. These are pyramidal or ladders, right? And as you go through doing your practices and your prayers, I'm talking about Kabbalistic. This is all Kabbalah, by the way. So when you do these particular prayers, it's like a ladder, and it's a ladder of consciousness. So you recite these names, and the most profound recitable name is the 72 names of God. That's only mentioned in one place in the book of Exodus from memory, when Moses passes the rod over the Red Sea, and it closes and destroys the Egyptian Pharaoh's men, the Pharaoh and the Egyptian Pharaoh's men. So that's the only place in the Bible that secret name is uttered. And nobody knows it. Moses knew it because Moses was the only one that could actually view the Ark of the Covenant. He was the only one. Otherwise, it would send people blind, right?
Now, your book is called God's Mountain, and God's Mountain that you're referring to is the Pyramid of Giza, right?
Oh, well, I'm not going to give too much away, but that's not a bad assumption, Jeff. Yeah.
Well, if people want to see your book or check it out, is it on Amazon?
Yeah, but the really weird thing is people are buying it, but I'm not getting paid. So someone's diddled me out of it. So I don't care. I'm not worried about the money. They can read it, buy it. You can go make the CIA rich if you want. If you hear me, boys, you're making a lot more money than me. So the more sales, the better. Maybe you can read the book and learn something out of it. So I'm being a little bit facetious, but.
I was going to say, is it the CIA or the PIA?
Well, that's why I put the PIA. So it's like I thought if I can't get to them through my book, I might as well just talk directly with Jeff and try to help as many people on here, So, but the thing is, I'm not against the intelligence agencies. I'm not against dark forces because they're humans. They have jobs to do. They're highly intelligent. They just don't realize what they're doing, and I feel for them more. I'm more worried about them, to be honest, because all the actions that they're partaking in out there, and we won't go into that, but everything is recorded. Everything. I'll tell you something, Jeff. When people die on their last breath, they don't care if there is a God, as long as there is one. They don't care what God's name is, as long as there is one. Trust me, everyone gets to that point. I've been and held people's hands when they die. And the best thing is just be there, don't say anything, and visualize, because there is a God. I know there is. I can't not believe it. I've seen it. All right. Just help people, even negative people. Anton LaVey, the Satanist. The three things he said just before he died? He said it 3 times. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. That was apparently I'm paraphrasing, it's anecdotal, but that's what he said before he died. So the veil was taken off right at the last moment for him, Mr. Naughty Anton LaVey, right? Let the people keep doing their negative actions. Let them. They've got to come back. You'll come back as a dog or an ant or a wasp or something and get sprayed by Mortine 500 times. Who knows? That's not for me to judge. So.
Well, John, I'm going to have to run soon, but are you still painting? I don't see any painting. You have like a new setup now. We used to see your paintings in the background, but it looks like you've got a sheet or something.
Yeah, I mean, when I get, they check my wall, people think I'm cutting bodies up. That's just to stop the paint splattering on the wall. So I look like a butcher. No, I just finished the painting, mate. I just sent it down to my gallery. It's they're really happy with it actually.
That's awesome.
So I'm in between paintings, so I've just been cleaning up, and so that's what I do is I clean my studio, and so I mentally get straight for the next one, and then I wait for upstairs to give me something. That's how it works. I don't even paint anymore. They paint themselves. I'm really lazy. I'm lazy, man. I'm lazy as an artist.
So do you feel like do you feel like you're channeling at the moment that your brush is hitting the canvas?
No. Well, yes and no. Sometimes I get a seed idea. The seed idea just gets popped in. It's strategic. Just before a painting, I think, what am I going to do? Oh, there it comes. And then I'll start working on the painting. It's like a song, right? And I'm more of well, you're a musician, you know what it's like to, just freebase jam, right? And well, what's the word for that when you're just jamming? What do you call it?
Like improvising?
Thank you. Yeah, improvising. So I'm just improvising a bit of chaos, and then I'll push it to the point where I think, oh, I've ruined it. And I get to that point very often. I think, I've ruined this. And then all of a sudden, that's when I feel spirit come in. And like the healings, I feel this pressure around me on my right ear, just on my right shoulder. And I know it's there. I don't know who that is. I don't know if there's the god of painting or the archangel of painting. I don't know. But often a lot of musos will say the same thing. You know, they get on and they say, wow, I just did that whole set and I don't even remember where I was. You know, we get into an altered state. It's almost shamanic. And then the painting gets saved and it comes back. And it's like, not me, it's coming through me, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. I had a question in here, and if you're up for it, if people want to contact you, how do they do that?
Well, I've been getting off Facebook. I've been given a warning by Spirit to pull back because this year is going to be tough, and there's nothing I can say that can really help people at this point. I know that sounds very unapproachable, but it's kind of like a hasta la vista baby. It's like, you know, we all have just amount of light. You know, I have an amount of light. You know, I still suffer. I still have things, you know, earthly routines to go through. And I try to limit my activity with people. I've been a recluse for a long time, nearly 30 years now. And so for me, it's like I just I'm pulling away at the moment. This year's a pull away year. So I don't mean to be rude and not be unapproachable, but every time it takes energy to talk. It takes energy to help people. Mm-hmm. And often people, you know, everyone's on a different level. They might be emotional, mental,
right,
physical, whatever. And all I can do is just point them in the direction. Everyone's overwhelmed at the moment, I must admit.
Right. I have a question here from the audience, and that is, how important is vegetarianism?
For that person, it's extremely important. For me, initially I became a vegetarian for about 10, 15 years, but I got quite sick and I needed that iron, and I wasn't really supplementing the iron that well. So there is liquid irons and things you can actually take. I think there's a moral connection to it. It's another sentient being. And I think as we progress as a species, we probably won't eat as much meat. Hopefully we will move more into a plant-based, but we've got to, I mean, I've met some very sick vegetarians because they really don't, you know, you would have too, Jeff. I mean, when people don't eat properly and they just go vegan because they're or vegan or vegetarian, but they don't understand about the minerals that you do need. And some of these minerals do come through animal and blood and things like that. Food prohibitions, me personally, I'm not that strict. I don't eat much red meat. But fish, yeah, chicken, you know, and it's like, you know, I do feel bad about it. So I don't eat a huge amount. Like I don't eat meat every day. It might be twice a week, maybe once a week, because I have a blood group that I need. So I need meat in my blood group. Some people don't. Some people just, they glow when they, you know, and that's a good way of cleaning out your energy state. That's cleaning your vessel as well. And it opens you up. So you've got to go very easy with diet. Diet's very important. That's your vessel. That's your temple. Keep your temple clean. You know, drugs, alcohol, no. For me, I can't do drugs. No.
Yeah.
Even alcohol is too heavy. I have one glass of wine, it hits me hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is that all? Is that all, Jeff?
That's all. Except one last thing. Is your website still johnscottart.com? Something like that? What was
John Scott Artist.
John Scott Artist. That's close. Well, John, you were here.
That's good.
It was great having you back. I mean, I almost gave you like 45 minutes to an hour. So it's like we just did another podcast. So thank you for coming and sharing with us.
Space. Thank you. And look, I'm sorry if I took up anyone else's space.
No, you didn't. You didn't take up space. You were great. And you came at the perfect time at the end of the night, and we went overtime. So it was great seeing you.
Finally, I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Stephen Cake. I mean, he was pretty bad way last time we saw him. So Stevie, if you're watching this, hope you're okay, bud.
Mm-hmm. You know, I saw him recently leave a comment on a video. So
good.
So I think
everyone's concerned. We, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think
get back here and do some Trump impersonations. You know.
Yeah. I think I told you that night I reached out to him and checked in on him, and he was doing okay. So, you know, that's good.
Good. Yeah. No, we're all thinking of him. So, okay, guys. That's about all for now. Yeah.
Well, thanks, John, for coming
like I said,
and hanging with us.
Get out. Karma is not absolute. You can change your karma, but it's up to you to do positive things and pay them off. And everything that comes in your field, you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. You can't escape it. So it is infallible. It's, you know, sometimes you go for karmic discharge, you've got to deal with it. No matter how powerful, you can get through. You've just got to slow down and don't try to run around it. You won't get past it. Yeah?
Yeah. All right, brother. Thanks for coming in and sharing with us.
Thanks,
Great
Jeff.
catching
Thanks,
up
everyone.
with you. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, John Scott. It's great to have him back. It's been a while since we've seen him, so that was great. And we went overtime, guys, about 30 minutes. Usually I finish at 9, and we went ahead and stayed with John for an extra 30 minutes. So that was great. If I didn't, did I get it? I thought I saw another super thanks. If I missed that, let me look up here. I want to say thank you for that. Truth is treason. Thanks. And that says, thanks for your channel, Chef. And I want to say thank you for that super thanks. I really appreciate it. All right, guys. So it was another busy night tonight. This was great. And we had a lot of viewers here, 429. So that's awesome. I want to see it keep growing. And I think it'll be great when we have at least 1,000 people here in the chat. It was actually okay. Yeah, my wife said it. She said it's about 450. So I think that might have been probably our busiest night. So that's great. Let's keep going. And like I said, it would be my goal. My next goal for this podcast, this live stream, is to have 1,000 people in the chat. I think it'd be awesome. So, guys, thank you again for coming and hanging out with us on a Saturday night. We really appreciate you guys. We love you. We are thankful for you, and we wish you the best.